What's up, guys? This is Chris with Wiseman Custom Resin Works. Today we're going to be doing a couple of different pours. Well, we're going to be doing the same type of pour, but a couple of different ones. We're going to be making some bullet casing cup coasters, kind of similar to ones like this here. That one was one that wasn't ready yet. Actually, I let somebody was experimenting with that, but they're gonna look similar to that. So basically, what you guys are gonna need for this type of pour, you're gonna need some type of molds. We just made our own. We just stuck the wood in there, and we just went around it with some silicone, just some 100% silicone, just to keep the resin in there and keep it shaped. And we did it a little bit bigger than what we wanted. That way when it comes out, we've got room to kind of cut it down and be able to sand it down. Other than that, you're going to need some bullet casings. You can use ones that are still full bullets. We did kind of an experiment on this one, as you can see. So you can do it like that. But with this one, we're not going to do it like that. So we're using ones only because it takes about right about 5 bullet shells, bullets, in order to make one coaster. So with using that many, that's just way too many. In order to use, we would go through, like for this one, for example. We're doing 3 coasters, so we're using 15 bullets, so bullets usually come in either packs of 25 or packs of 50, and that would cost us a lot of money to do. So what we did, we just went over to the local gun range. We just talked to the owner over there, got him to agree to give us some bullets that he swept up out of the gun range. Now what we did, we kind of just polished them up ourselves. We just used some vinegar, 100% white vinegar, and salt, soaked them in it, swished them around a little bit, and that pretty much polished them. Then we ran some with water, and that polished them. Now, aside from that, now we just have this giant gaping hole. If I was to put it into the mold now, it wouldn't be very great. It's going to release a lot of bubbles out of that hole there. So we want to fill it. Some people fill them with resin. I'm not going to do that because that would take a lot of resin to do that. So what we're going to do is what I prefer. It's a lot cheaper route. Is we're going to use hot glue. So what we do, we just kind of hold it here, stick the tip in it, and you just want to fill it on up. I always stick the tip in. That way I can make sure that it's going around in there. Now, if you have not so strong hands, you want to be careful doing this because it does get very, very hot. Even my hands now are burning. It's almost too hot to hold. So I would recommend either gloves, or you can just set it down once it gets too hot, and then just want to keep the tip in it. And as it comes in, it'll kind of work around. And once you get up to the top, what you want to do, you just want to kind of let it overflow just a tad, just come out just a tad, and then just go right off the top like that, off the side. That way it'll release it. Now when you do it, it's gonna it'll even itself out. So if it's not all the way even, it will even itself out when it's done. This one, it'll kind of look like this here, where it's just completely sealed off. That way it doesn't it doesn't allow a bunch of air bubbles to get through there. And for the sake of time, I went on ahead and already did this. Other than the last 2, I just wanted to be able to show you guys kind of what you do here. So I didn't think you guys would want to sit here with me while I went through 15 different ones here. So I went on ahead and took the liberty of doing them all, other than just a couple. So once I get the hot glue to cooperate with me, seems to want to keep stringing out, and I don't want the string in it. Okay, so once I get that off my hands here, give me 1 second. That's the downside to hot glue. It definitely starts stringing out, or that string gets everywhere. But once aside from that, it's not too bad. So yeah, just stick it down inside there and just let it fill on up. And once it gets to the top, like I said, just let it come on over just a tad, because it's gonna settle as well. And because it's so hot and the inside the brass, it's not gonna allow it to harden up immediately, so it will take a second before it hardens. Not very long, just a second, but because it does take a second, it'll kind of pack itself in, and once it packs itself in, that'll allow it to kind of smooth it out. So even though it's overflowed, it'll come out to be just about perfect. Once you get better at it, the more you do, the kind of better you'll see on exactly how much to put in for it to be just about perfect. Other than that, once you do that, you're going to want to let them dry, and once that's done, that's pretty much the only prep work you have to do, other than your regular resin prep. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get my resin mixed up, and I will be right back. Alright guys, so now that I got my clear resin mixed up, we're going to want to put a seal coat on these just to kind of seal it in, just to make sure that it helps prevent any bubbles from arising. I didn't have anything to be able to hold the wood down, so I kind of improvised here, as you guys can see. That's why the stuff here is on top. I did that just to give me something to hold it in place. You don't have to put a whole lot up here, just enough just to seal it down. That way, once you guys are ready, that'll now while I'm putting the color in here, that'll go ahead and allow it to start getting where it's hardened and cure a little bit. Now for this, we're actually going to be using eyeshadow is what we're going to be coloring it with. I found that this actually works pretty good when you're trying to color the resin. You know, usually it's not too bad, and it's fairly cheap. I think I paid like $5 for this whole thing right here, and honestly, I prefer this over some of my mica powders, you know, and over some of my different liquid colors as well. With this here, you just gotta make sure that you guys mix it in really good, just to get all the chunks out of there. You don't want to have any chunks in it whatsoever. can ruin your pour if you do. So you definitely want to get it mixed in really, really good. Make sure you scrape along the sides. I waited a little too long here, so my resin's starting to get really hot on me, so I'm trying to hurry up, guys, or else I'd show you what I'm talking about with it. But I gotta get it mixed in here really good first. I kind of took my time, so the resin's already starting to get hard, which isn't what I want. Now guys, this is going to be the first layer. What you want to do when you're doing projects like this, especially when you're putting like bullets and stuff into the resin, you're going to want to give it a good first layer. That way the bullets can kind of sit in there and harden, and that way your bullets aren't so heavy they'll sink, you know. You don't want them to be coming out the bottom of your project, so you definitely want to get a good bottom layer in it. Once you get yourself a good bottom layer, then you can go ahead and once it gets pretty tacky, you can go ahead and drop those in, the bullets in, and you can pour over top of them. Like I said, guys, when you're using this, like eyeshadow or any type of powder for that matter, definitely make sure you scrape the sides. Definitely make sure that you get all of it from every little crease and crevice of the cup. You definitely don't want any of that to be floating around in your pour at all. We're going to go ahead and pour just a little thin layer down here. Like I said, guys, we wanted to pour just enough to give it something to set up with. That way you can drop your bullets in. When you guys do the seal coat, you also want to make sure that you definitely want to make sure that you get it real good, you know. You don't want to leave any out. Leaving it out just wouldn't be very great. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to grab something here. I'm gonna grab me a mold out here just for any of my extras that I might have poured. I can go ahead and pour in there. Alright, so we got the bullets in there. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to go through and top them all off. Just to fill them to the top. It's alright if we go a little bit over, but we don't want to go too far over. We can sand down any imperfections or anything like that. You know, we can always just sand it down like they might be doing pretty good. Yeah, so it doesn't look like it's too bad, guys. Actually looks like it's pretty good. I'm gonna let that degas for a second. But as always, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, and if you got anything that you'd like us to do, please feel free to drop us a comment or reach out to us. And any pours that you'd like us to do, or any questions that you may have, we definitely will answer those. But as always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and check back for more.